tænder. Our public schools have become cockpits of a culture war.
All right, you guys, you know what time is it? It is 10 o'clock p.m. I want to welcome you to the Midnight Run. And of course, as always, it's that VINCE. And you got to excuse me for today. Not feeling too hot there. Yeah, I think I worked out a little bit too hard yesterday. So hope everybody else is doing well. We've had a lot of activity there. Vegan teacher caught with meat. Of course, the Blaha Joni situation, which we'll obviously go into a little bit further. And Pugman, I see you. Tesla did pretty good today, stock-wise. I think they were up like 11% or so. But no, I didn't get any of the Tesla stock or anything. And then they released that video of the Memphis beating. Memphis is going to burn tonight, but so's a great one. I'm going to burn me a cigar tonight as usual because you know why? It's the Midnight Run. That's what we do. We burn cigars, we smoke, we drink, and we talk. Okay? So everybody out there, tell me what you are drinking and smoking or whatever you are eating. As far as Charles Schwab is concerned, I go with E-Trade, but for an IRA, I don't think it really makes much of a difference here as far as to who you go to for that. Let's see. Any thoughts on investing in Microsoft? I don't have any opinion. One thing I can tell you is stocks are going to be pretty hot for AI technology. I've been using AI stuff for the past month there, and it gets a lot of work done very quickly. It's very scary. But folks, tell me what you are drinking and smoking. You got weed? Okay. Did you bring some for everybody? I'm still doing a full body workout there. But I worked out a little bit too hard yesterday, I have to admit. And it is hitting me pretty hard today. Got some brandy. Ameritrade, I use E-Trade actually. I'm not sure about the services as far as Ameritrade is concerned. Green, Jello, and homegrown. Okay, whatever works for you there. Sicilian, me and Romano squashed the beef about a couple weeks ago whenever I went on RX Muscle, so that's pretty much over with. And it needed to end because that's been going on for over 20 years. But what I got tonight is another Nicaraguan cigar. Got Earl Grey, got water, and I got a Russian Mule. Why would I think he's eating a pepperoni meat sausage there, veganism supposed? Hey, what's up, man? I didn't even see you here. Hope you've been well. Keep making those videos here. Charlie, anyone that posts about being sexually abused, you got to take that kind of seriously. It's not something that you really want to, make fun of regardless as to whether it's true or not, I don't want to put myself in a position to where I'm making fun of something like that. If someone goes and opens up and says that they're sexually abused as a child, that's not something you want to play around with, period, Well, Andrew, she went and let someone hang out with her for 24 hours, did some really weird things, and then she opened up the refrigerator and she had a pepperoni stick in there. I think the name of the YouTube channel was Ben for the Win or something like that. Yeah, Robin Hood. I would stay away from those people. I hate those people. The problem with places like Robin Hood is it lets people that have no clue into stocks know how to deal with stocks and stuff like that. Go ahead and get their foot in the market, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they just don't know what they're doing. Period. And when it comes to investing in stocks, that's not something you can play around with. Not at all. I absolutely hate apps such as this here. It's actually worse than the cryptocurrency apps. The reason being is because Robinhood is a more legitimized in the terms of things. But I hate Robinhood. JumpTube, she is accused of murder of her boyfriend. She says it's in self-defense, so we'll just see. Well, no, he didn't exactly give a pass there, veganism. He didn't exactly give a pass on that, period. I think he was just as baffled as I was. Thoughts on acorns? Don't really have too many thoughts on that. And thoughts on Alberta? Have I ever bet on sports or horse racing? Well, yeah, I run a sportsbook website there. Y'all excuse me just a minute. I'll be right back. Had to go change robes there. Now I feel a lot better. And I'll probably have to turn off. I've also had to turn on the air conditioning there. It was getting baking hot in here. Bean, Pugman's probably the better person to ask for financial advice there on stuff like that. This isn't exactly an investment channel, it's a mints channel. While I do invest in stocks, I'm pretty much average, just like any other person. Not only that, YouTube has some very strict rules on discussing any type of investing anyway. So I would visit someone's channel that deals directly with something like that. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm not gonna watch. I haven't watched UFC Kaizen in many years. I just don't watch it. If I'm at Hooters, I will watch it. Steve, it could be the COVID shot there. But I think it's just me from working out and stuff like that. So, pretty sore. Well, Michael, the thing about it is that vegan teacher screams at people for being a vegan, and she has some sort of meat snack in there. And she says there's no exceptions, just like Richard does. If you guys remember the debate that I had with him in regards to Jasmine feeding the dog some meat and stuff like that, it's pretty much a similar situation. It's not a similar situation because this is a dog. We're talking about an actual pepperoni stick that would be for human consumption. So she claims that the biggest thing is she claims that someone left it on her windshield. And if that was the case, why didn't she just throw it out? You know, why in the world would it be in the refrigerator? You know, it doesn't make any bit of sense. Let's see. No, Kentucky, just sore from working out yesterday. That and I hadn't been feeling, I'll be honest with you, I've not been feeling too hot in the past couple of days anyway. So, probably what happens usually is when the weather changes, it really just messes with my systems there. Because it was hot, and then it was cold, and then it was hot, and then it was cold. That screws with some. That's one of my things that I hate most whenever the weather changes. Whenever the weather changes so rapidly, I tend to get sick pretty quickly. But I should be fine. Well, nobody eat you can't really eat acorns. They have to be the reason why people don't eat acorns. They used to eat them back in the 17th century and 18th century, but they just take a lot of work in order to process there. You know, it's not worth it. You got 6 inches of snow, Steve? Well, make some snow angels. Athens, be nice and quit calling people scammers. Pugman's a good man there, so. I do watch boxing, but again, I'm not going to pay for any pay-per-views. Folks, the best way to go and catch a pay-per-view is to go to a sports bar. No need to pay like $100 and some, you know. Just go to a sports bar. I usually go to Hooters, have myself some wings, and then I'd watch it, you know. And for some of you straight guys, you can watch. You can watch. There's one financial channel that I tune into, Warrior Trading. I like his channel because, you know, he's showing the blips as far as to how he's trading. The thing about it is you would need someone like that that runs it every single day. But you'll probably notice at the beginning of his channels there is that, you know, don't take, it's sort of a disclaimer as far as don't take financial advice there, you know, and stuff. You have to remember, depending on the type of subject you're talking about, on whether it's YouTube or whether you have an a website or so forth, you have to be really careful as far as to how you market and manage that. But I would go to Warrior Training. I think Warrior Trading. I think he's a good guy. Forex is something you don't want to mess with. Very volatile. I mean, trying to bid on currency exchanges. Yeah, Andrew, I see how Richard is. I mean, that's just him. Yeah, there is a bad cold there that's going around. I don't think that's the case. This is actually the first year I didn't take a flu shot neither, and I've not caught the flu or anything. Yeah, I've been to Twin Peaks before. I wasn't impressed with it, and the food wasn't too good. Man, gotta get out these cramps. Ugh. Yeah, I'd be embarrassed too. But you know, he gets $50 every time he twerks, and I think he's getting $1 a sit up, so the sit ups will definitely help out, I guess. Hey, evening, Greg. I hope you're doing well. Well, it's not an infection, Charlie. I'm just worn out this week there, I guess. Worn out, worked out, and weather. So we all have our down days, and I guess this is my down day. But folks, I didn't want to cancel the stream or anything like that just because I was feeling pretty bad, so. Talk, well, Athens, I'm not too familiar with Lenny's history in high school, so you're gonna have to go on Lenny's live stream and ask him that question. The only person that would know about Lenny's high school experience, would be just Lenny. Nobody else. Where did I hear about Hemingway? I mean, it's all over the place now. But mainly in Reddit. That's where I got my information from. Reddit seems to be working in the future. I don't know if you're trolling or not, Charlie, but joining an underground fight club sounds like that movie. So, where's my drink? It's right here. It's a Moscow Mule. Do I decorate for Valentine's Day? No. I've not gotten any booster shots or anything. Well, Scatman, when it comes to dealing with anabolic steroids, Derulix, and stuff like that, I mean, the protocol is generalized, but, you know, the human body is a unique thing, and you never know how something's going to react into it. So I'm kind of on the fence there. It's not the only person that's complained about Dave's protocols before. Uh, you know, he's been training people for almost 30 years, so, you know, you're going to get a complaint well, not exactly all 30 years, but, you know, at least over 20 years. So it's no different than my business. For I sell a lot of products there, but I'm always going to have someone that complains about a product that's missing, that's messed up, or just something that they don't like there. So it's just I would consider that along the lines of being a dissatisfied customer. I don't intend to start a Snapchat. I am going to work more on my Instagram as well as my Facebook. I really neglect my Instagram a bunch. I had to turn off also the settings to where it was also posting from my personal page. So I've actually turned it into a business page. Well, the stream is for 2 hours from 10 p.m. till 12 o'clock p.m. unless I start feeling even worse there. But I should be fine. Once I get the eeks out, so. Charlie, that can come at any time there. Whenever the medical examiner releases it. Pugman, I don't eat any beets or have any beet powder or anything like that. Not something I would.
Please don't bring me up in this chat, you meat huggers. Only my handsome cousin Vince can bash and harass me, but you peasants need to stop. Also, me and Jasmine are planning to open relationship. We would love to have an orgy rig with you, Vince. Happy night.
Get to that in a minute. But Pugman, when it comes to any type of beet powders, it's one of those things where I consider it as an exotic supplement. But if it works well for you, I would probably continue using it there. It's just not something I would use, but good question there. And Vegan Gains donated $5. Please don't bring this up in chat. All right, planning an well, I'm very glad to hear that. I hope you have a bunch of butt babies. But again, thanks again for the $5 donation. Well, Kaizen, you can be a YouTuber. All you gotta do is get in front of a camera and start talking. In fact, you don't even have to get in front of a camera and talk. There's a lot of channels out there to where, it's just nothing but a bunch of hands or some pictures, and they do pretty well. So anyone can be a YouTuber. What's up, Angel? How you doing? Just withering around tonight, so with cramps again. Whole body is all cramping, all because of this damn weather and working out. And what a week. Ugh. Well, Jump Tube, there's going to be some rioting, but you have to remember the beating was done by all black folks, so can't call this a racist issue exactly. But it was a pretty bad beating. I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, clearly they knew what they were doing was wrong. I mean, this wasn't no accident, that's for sure. Right now, I don't have any predictions other than I believe the Eagles is probably going to win the Super Bowl, possibly. Either that or Kansas City, but, Kansas is in trouble because, as you guys know, the quarterback hurt his ankle and stuff like that. So we're going to see exactly how he plays. Quick Pump, there's a lot of 212 bodybuilders that have an issue with Lee Priest. despite everything, Lee Priest is not a very popular bodybuilder, you know. There's a lot of bodybuilders that literally hate his guts. Vitamin K2, it's an exotic vitamin. Just take a multivitamin there, rules. There's no need to take a specific vitamin. The only exception I would probably make is maybe vitamin B12 if you need a little bit of energy. But don't worry about vitamin K2 or anything, so. Folks, just get a well-balanced diet and get a multivitamin. The multivitamins have been formulated since the 20s. You have over 100 years of technology in it there. You know, you can't go wrong with a multivitamin. Don't overcomplicate things. Well, Valentine's Day is a holiday. It's just not a federal holiday, so you're still going to have to work. Rules, I've not even been in that box today. I was working this afternoon, and of course, like I said, I've not been feeling well, so I went and took a nap for a while. Had a Zoom call at 2 o'clock p.m., and it lasted about an hour and a half, so I've not looked at it yet. I'm sorry, but I'll make sure I will. My next visit to the Swordfish Club will be next week, actually. I don't go every single week at this point because I've been busy with a couple of websites and stuff. Given the fact that she killed her, yes, I believe she probably did use a gun. I can't think of anyone else. I would just assume she used a gun. It doesn't matter. She went and killed someone, and now, you know, she's having some sort of relation with Jason Blaha. Blaha's in very serious danger. Hemingway may be writing his last book, in other words. Yes, Greg, there is a realistic chance that she could shoot him dead there. You never know. One thing is for sure, if someone is charged with murder, that's not a person you want to hang around with. Not even family. Not at all. Truth, when I drink a lot of water every single day, it's good for your health. Keeps the body hydrated. Defunding the police is just stupid. I mean, there's already been sections to where some of these cities have tried to do it with poor and horrible results. Stop trolling, Andrew. They're not moving it to a campground site. Athens, Lee Priest is still famous. He's just not liked. Well, as far as Cuban is concerned, you know, I may have to get up on his ass again one of these, you know, pretty soon. Andrew, I don't take any Viagra whatsoever. I don't take any prescription medicines or anything like that of the sort. Not anything as far as enhancements are concerned. You know, of course, at my age, I take a high blood pressure pill naturally, and also a statins drug there. As far as that's concerned, that's just good for someone my age there, of course. I always take whatever my doctor tells me to take, you know. Charlie, a lot of people promoted turkesterone, including Greg Doucette. The reason being is because it had, you can make a lot of money off of it there. You can make, your percentage as far as the markup is concerned was almost 3,000. That's why everyone was selling this turkesterone stuff, because I guess it's gotten a lot cheaper to make or something. I don't know. Scatman, December 23rd is 2 days before Christmas. October 24th is 7 days before Halloween. Hey, I like Valentine's Day. Not going to be this year because I'm not with anyone. Andrew, I can guarantee that Blaha is not happy at all. If someone gets on camera and says that they're happy, then they're not happy. I always tell you folks how I'm feeling. If I feel like shit like I am now, then I'm gonna tell you people that, just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. Well, Charlie, I don't know where Blaha's guns are, but I would definitely keep them away from her. That's for sure. Let's see here. Reading comments here. Well, Scatman, in order to block people that blocked you can't really do that. Once you're blocked, they can't see your stuff neither. So if one person blocks, the other person can't block. So don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. If you start a channel, don't worry about blocking people on that neither. You may have to time out spam, but, I recommend not doing it, because then, they'll just log in onto another account and then it will go all over again. It's a waste of time. If someone's trolling in your channel, just ignore them. That's if you do it. Charlie, I don't know where Jay Masters is at. That must have been a while back, that's for sure. And folks, I know some of y'all have asked me about J Masters. I don't keep up with them. I definitely don't. No, my shins don't look like Lenny's there, Jump Tube. I like DHEA rules. I like taking it there. It makes me feel a lot better. It gives me a little bit of energy there, and it helps out with the blood flow. Well, I was born in the late 70s, so yeah, I definitely like Huey Lewis in the News. It's very prominent in the movie American Psycho. I'm not sure if you've seen that before. Well, Andrew, I don't have a membership set up for my YouTube channel as of yet. That may be in the future. But yes, Greg, I may start with some merchandise pretty soon. That's what I've been looking into. It's a slow process. I do a lot of things, and I can't simply do everything at once. As far as Sean G is concerned, Truth One, I think we touched base on that on Tuesday. It's just overpriced. You have to remember, people charge things because they know that people are gullible enough to buy it. Gucci sells things at an overpriced simply because they know there's going to be people out there that are going to buy it because of the name Gucci. They don't buy based on the actual material itself. Anyone can get a cotton shirt. You can get a cotton shirt from Walmart for a couple of dollars. It's all about the name itself there, you know. Sean G sells a $200 shoes and hoodies because he knows that people are going to pay for it, that he's trading on his name. Greg, I can't play any of that because it's copyrighted. Rules, I would recommend doing direct work for delts. Rows and bench press trains them indirectly, but you need to directly hit them as well. No, I would never buy a $200 hoodie. I did buy that pink sweater from Brooks Brothers for $100. If there's something particular, then I would actually, if there's something particular that I really like and I feel that it's something of value to me, then I'm going to put the money into buying it. And that sweater presented real value because it was wool, you know, and it's going to last me for a lifetime. So the $100 I feel is going to be an investment. I want you to think about this for a minute, folks. Let's say you buy a shirt for $10 and you only wear it 2 times. That means you spent $5 per wear. Now, let's say you bought a $50 t-shirt and you wore it, maybe you kept it for a couple of years. You may have worn it 50 to, let's say, 100 times. Okay? You get more value out of a shirt that you wear longer, that's more durable. That's the way you should think about it when it comes to clothes. Stay away from fast fashion or cheap fashion. Get something that's high quality, but also get it at a good price. Just like my sweaters I have. But good question. You always have to look at clothes as to, okay, when you buy a set of clothes, is this something I'm going to wear for umpteen times? Is it something I'm just going to wear for one time, you know? When it comes to making... All right, Izzy, thanks again for joining the channel there. Welcome to the greatest show on the planet. But yes, when it comes to clothes or any type of purchase, what I usually try to do when it comes to making a purchase is I'll look at it and then I'll walk away, and if I feel the same within a couple of days to a week, then I'll go ahead and buy it, you know. Charlie, people have been wearing fake Jordan stuff for, you know, since the late 80s. And they used to have those fake in-air shirts and stuff like that. That's nothing new. And it's very easy to fake, too, as well. You know, something's missing here. I know what's missing. Cigar. Let's get lit up, folks. No, I'm not feeling well. Maybe this will make me feel a little bit better. Yeah, I've worn rugby shirts before. But that's when I was a kid. I've not worn one since I was a kid. Greg, I've not weighed myself there, and I think I've already explained this that my weight's going to change depending on when I take Thorazide because I take hydrothorazide, so my weight is going to fluctuate a bunch there. But as far as body fat percentage is concerned, it's going down. In fact, I think it's already showing in my face there because now I'm beginning to get wrinkles. So, you see, whenever I was a lot more heavier, everything would be a lot more smooth. So, I don't listen to Cigar Dave or anything. I've not been watching any channels, Cigar Daily, for some reason. I've just had a funk in it. I've not watched Gentleman's Gazette or anything. I guess I'm just in a funk as far as watching things are concerned. Well, KCB, it really all depends. They're not going to use actual floor sweepings or anything. But a Cuban sandwich is good for a budget. You can't smoke an expensive cigar every single day. I mean, it's going to fall apart. It's not going to have an ash on it or anything. But it'll get the job done. It's still premium tobacco. Well, Greg, if I bench anything, it's going to be for 225, and usually I get about 8 to 12 reps. It just depends on what I'm working, how well I feel that day. Some days I don't even touch it at all as far as bench press is concerned, and I just do some cables here. That's what happens when you get older and you're not taking any steroids or anything. And that's exactly what happened. I tried to lift as though I was still in my 20s, and that was a pretty bad idea. Who wins in a fight to the death? Probably Big Lenny, but Greg, good question there. If I can get 12 reps for 225 that day, that's as far as I'm going to go. I don't go heavier than 225 at this point. Well, Ice Monkey, if he has lots of money and he's only wearing t-shirts, more power to him, he is not letting his possessions control him, Well, lately, Rules, I've been watching a lot of affiliate channels. I've been trying to work more with my Scrapebox software and stuff. So that's what I've really been busy with. I've also been watching a lot of camping channels and stuff. Well, not camping channels, just them building cabins out in the middle of the woods and stuff. I was watching one last night. Someone had built a cabin just to play their Atari 2600 games. I thought it was pretty cool. And Scatman, don't say anything. I know what you're thinking. Shut up. What can conservative do to lose his triple chin? Maybe chop his own head off, Romano's always worn that beanie. It's one of those age type things. You got to remember Dave and Romano. I mean, Romano's in his 60s, so they used to wear. He wears that as well as those do rags and handkerchiefs and stuff. But I think John is actually bald at this point in time. He doesn't have any hair. And I know it's funny that you say it, but You know, the John Romano I remember, he had some pretty long hair at the time. You know, again, so did I. I had really good hair. Dumbbell raises rules. That's the perfect thing to do with delts. Not a prepper there, Charlie. I just found it kind of interesting. Sometimes, late at night, whenever I can't sleep, sometimes, which was that night there last night, because I've not been feeling too well and everything like that, you know, I'll go and put something on. Greg, Blaha's already paid for all that merchandise, so, you know, you can't waste good money, I guess. But who cares what he wears? He's still an asshole. Yeah, Scatman got a lot of people into camping. Perverting minds on my channel here. I don't know whether to ban you, Scatman, or make you a moderator at this point in time. Life coaching? Ugh, that's some sort of liberal bullcrap. No, I'm not going to offer life coaching there. If someone's having life issues, I tell them to man it up there. Do some push-ups. Eat some beans or something, you know. Life coach. Ugh. Folks, as far as life is concerned, life is not lollipops and rainbows. Deal with it. You know, just deal with it. You got problems, find a solution. All right? If you don't know the solution, ask somebody. Okay? Romano went to prison for it was some sort of coin. It had to deal with collectible coins there, but that's what he went to prison for. He didn't go to prison for any steroids or anything. But, you know, honestly, now that me and John have cleared the beef and everything like that, you know, I'm not, I mean, I know a lot about Romano that you guys don't know, as well as Dave, and he knows a lot of stuff about me that most people don't know, so I have to, you know, it's sort of like both of us have guns at each other's heads that we can pull at any time and completely just destroy each other, you know. No different than nuclear weapons, you know. Russia has nuclear weapons. We have nuclear weapons, you know. Neither one of us are going to push the button because we know it's going to be the end of the world if either side does. So that's the way you should think of it. But good question. Romano's worn a do-rag before. He wore a do-rag for many years. Charlie, we don't talk about groomers around here. Ew. Ah, Shizzo. Shizzo's still running around on Get Big thinking that he's a legendary Get Bigger. But he just doesn't seem to get it. You got to put yourself out there these days. And that's something that he doesn't do. You know, you can't live on a forum. Yes, I started on a bodybuilding forum. That's how everyone knew me. But you got to grow beyond that, you know. Got to get out on social media. You got to make videos like I do, you know. You got to go out to shows. You got to do things, you know, if you want to be involved in stuff. That's what makes someone legendary. Oh, doing the old Billy Guns things. Oh, if you don't know, your ass better call somebody. Yeah, it was wire. It would be considered wire fraud, but it had to deal with collectible coins. That's the base of the whole thing. Yeah, mutual destruction there. It's the same with Dave, you know. Dave knows things about me, and I know things about Dave. I mean, we can pretty much destroy each other, but you know, that's just it. You know, we're not going to push the button. I've already settled things with John. I don't really want to start it with him anymore. We because the reason being is because we went at it for so long. I mean, we're talking over 20 years, people. You know. Folks, when you argue with someone for over 20 years, and I mean, this is almost pre internet wise, it gets old after a while, you know? Just didn't need that in my life anymore. That's one thing that I've done a bunch. I've went ahead and made amends to a lot of people these days. Ron Harris, a lot of other people as well there that I've done wrong in the past. Uh, because before Vegan Games was around, I was the most hated person in the bodybuilding industry, hands down. So over the years, you know, now that I'm older and wiser, I realize that, you know, I've been an asshole to a lot of people. So I've had to apologize and I've had to make amends. I had to take a big piece of that humble pie there, you know, and stuff. So. There's no amount of money that anyone can pay me to ever expose Dave. I've been friends with Dave for over 20 years. We've had our ups and downs, but you know, we've been friends for like 20 years here, you know. I'm not gonna diss Dave like that, you know. Yeah, I go to the deep web. I go to the dark web is what I call it, and I use I got the Tor browser on my computer. Yeah, I've read Berserk. It's hardcore, so. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Jump Tube. I mean, I used to be a big giant forum troll. I mean, the biggest ones out there from what people said. No, I don't hear from or Dookie because I don't I close my ears whenever his name comes up. Hmm. Hey Robert, welcome to the channel here. You can watch me wiggle around a bunch here. Folks, is the camera getting a little fuzzy or something? By any chance, let me know. Or is it still clear on your end? Yeah, I know he did pass away, but there's still going to be issues out of Berserk there, so it'll still continue, I believe. You know, I spoke with Leo. He actually contacted me the other day. Leo and longevity. He gave me some ideas about things, but as far as his return is concerned, I mean, you have to remember, despite everything, YouTube is his bread and butter. It's his podium as far as to where he can speak his views. So I always knew he was going to come back. Everybody comes back. Well, Scat man, there's nothing wrong with having a Tor browser. I mean, as far as the dark web is concerned, you know, most of the stuff that you try to buy up there is going to be fake. I would stay away from buying anything there. It's interesting to look at, but you know, I would just stay away from it. A lot of bad actors there. And even with the Tor browser, you know, the feds can still see what you're doing. So, Yeah, I saw the Cowboy Bebop live action. What a pile of crap. Ugh. They better not ever do that shit ever again. Ever. Ever. Nah, folks, really, is the video coming through clear for you guys, or is it a little fuzzy? Okay. All right, just checking to make sure. It must be on my end. Well, Dave doesn't sell pythons, so you're lying. It is fuzzy. Okay, let me. There. It does that sometimes. I don't know. It's a new camera there, so. But if I put my finger across it there, it clears everything up. Or better yet, here's what I'll do. There, that should prevent that from happening. It's probably because I had low light in here. No, the light was getting pretty bad in here, so I went ahead and turned it on. No, this camera actually autofocuses, but I think what happened was because it was low, the light was getting a little bit lower. No, I've gotten a lot smaller. Generally speaking, I have lost weight. So the reason being, as I could tell, is because I'm beginning to get wrinkles. I mean, overall, I'm still going to be a big guy. Don't forget, folks, I competed for many years, you know. And I mean, like I said, that doesn't say heavyweight for nothing in bodybuilding. I mean, I competed as a heavyweight, so I'm always going to be a big guy. I mean, I've always been a big guy anyway. My dad was a big guy. It's in our genes, you know. Even if I wasn't bodybuilding, I would still be this size anyway. You know, a cigar does make me feel a little bit better. 5'11" there, Aaron. And shrinking. When you get older, you shrink down a little bit. I'm gonna still look the same size even whenever if you look at some of my competition pictures and stuff like that. I may look skinny in some of those pictures, but once I step on stage and I get pumped up, you know, I'm just as big. I usually look as big as this here, you know. It's sort of the same situation as far as Tricky Jackson is concerned. You know, I look normal in a regular shirt and everything like that, but once I start pumping up there, then everything all pops out and everything. I hope some of you guys know who Tricky Jackson is here. Any movie, Robert, that O'Hearn does is going to be a B movie. It's going to suck. Mike O'Hearn is not exactly a great actor. And Bob Ciccarelli, you know, he's always going to be a friend of mine. But he also acted in a bunch of crappy movies too, so. I was an extra in a couple of good movies here, but, you know, at the same time, I wasn't actually an actor or so. But I guess considering that, you know, I do live streams, I guess, you know, even with YouTube, there is a level of entertainment that's in place. So I guess technically I can be considered an actor. Either that or the pasta of the mints, you know. It's not Pentecostal, it's Pissacostal. This is a Pissacostal church. Aaron, it's only gay if you want it to be. Not sure, Kaizen, as far as which bodybuilder. I'm not sure who would play Guts from Berserk. But they can pretty much get anyone. No, I've never considered vaping because it's not classical. It's not stylish or anything like that. Would you see Frank Sinatra with a vape pipe or anything like that? Would you see Sammy Davis Jr. with one? Would you see Dean Martin with one of those vapes? No. Would you see George Burns with one? No. They had cigars. And I like cigars. So, no, not vaping. One thing about vaping is, you know, it's just nothing but really chemicals. It's just like a chemicalized, it's made in a factory. There's a difference between something that's made in a factory and something like a cigar that is grown from the ground up, that is fermented, that is processed, that is carefully hand rolled and stuff like that. There's a lot more work that goes into a cigar. Whereas vape juice just gets spit out from a machine. There's nothing classical about it. You know, when it comes to vaping, there just regular fake smoke comes out. This here is real tobacco smoke, you know. But good question. Vaping is not, just to be honest with you, vaping is not my generation, you know. That's a younger folks' generation. Scatman, I'm not skinny. I'm just losing weight, and I'm just saying that I can tell because I got wrinkles now, you know. You see, as I go down in weight there, at the age of being 46 and stuff like that, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start showing a whole bunch of wrinkles, folks. I'm gonna really start looking my age. Would I date a guy with a dad bod? On one hand, if they had a good personality, yes. But on the other hand, a dad bod would be an indication that they don't take care of themselves. So that would be a toss up. I always go when it comes to dating someone, it's all about personality for me mainly. And they don't have to be at 2% body fat or anything like that, but they can't be a slob neither. Jump tube, I've never heard of Dr. Umar Johnson, so I don't have an opinion on it. Wally, if you've been throughout the history of Jason Blaha, he's had always a bunch of crazy stuff on. Bulletproof vest with magazines in it and stuff, Viking hats and stuff, medieval stuff. Night vision goggles would be I would actually consider that as toning down on things. Well, black does crack, you know. It cracks eventually. I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Well, that's good for Richard there. He doesn't need to be streaming for 8 to 10 hours. I also notice he's not been doing any video gaming lately there, so maybe he's taking a break from video gaming after that whole thing with Jasmine to where he yelled at her. Blaha's not bigger than me per se or anything like that, but honestly, even if he was, who cares, you know? Again, it's not about the looks there, it's about the personality. Hemingway has no scruples there. He's not a very nice person. He's anti-Semitic. He hates Jews, you know. He's a racist there. Neo all the way. That's an easy one. Blaha doesn't have 19-inch arms. He probably has them around 15 or 16. No, tonight he's gaming? Okay. I'll have to see what Richard's actually playing. Well, Andrew, again, when it comes to fights, I just prefer walking away from them. It's not worth fighting at this point in time because people can go and pull out guns and stuff. All it takes is one time, one stroke of anger, one time to get upset. Next thing you know, you talking to Tupac. Not saying that I won't get angry at a traffic stop, but I'm going to do my damnedest not to get into a situation like that. And the only thing that you can do is try. But if someone asks me directly if I'm going to go out and fight someone, if someone makes me mad for honking at me in traffic, I'm going to say no. I'm just going to drive away and be done with it. See, I'm feeling better now. Maybe it was just a cigar. I mean, I'm still a little walkie there, but I don't want to see Richard collapse. I want him to take better care of himself, you know, especially his mental issues here. He just needs to start dealing with them and stop taking all these damn pills and stuff. That doesn't mean you don't take any medication. Like I said, I take a statin and I take high blood pressure because I mean I turned 46 in a couple of months there, you know. You gotta start thinking of, you know, the biggest thing is you always gotta listen to your doctor. My doctor tells me to go take this, I'm gonna take it, you know. But you know why? Because I didn't go to medical school. A lot of people have the mistake that I don't need this. I'm going to go to WebMD. This guy told me this. This guy told me that. Don't do that, you know. Go listen to someone that went to medical school if you want medical advice. Have I ever smoked a cigar while getting head? Yes, I have. That girl gave me some good head. No, not a tranny, a girl, you know, one with a vagina and everything. I've also had a guy do that as well. But the first time was a girl. You think so, veganism? I might actually change it to that. I was thinking about that the other day. Scatman, I've had a beard at one time, and I didn't look too good with it. I think my face is not equipped to have a beard. Yes, I do use Knox gelatin. It's a good cheap supplement. It's the same thing that Steve Reeves used, and I keep that in the cupboards. If my joints are feeling really bad, I take glucosamine. But if my joints are feeling really bad, then I'll crack open a box of the Knox gelatin. I don't really like using that because it doesn't taste too good. But that's some old school stuff. Staunch Barbell, how you doing today? I hope you're having a good night. We're just sitting back, chatting, smoking, and drinking, answering questions here. Nick Trigilli hates my guts over that video, but he really should blame Generation Iron because, like I said before, that video I made originally sat there for almost a year and a half, almost 2 years, and it only had 30 views. The only reason why it had views is because Generation Iron splashed it all over the place. But honestly, I don't care if Nick Trigilli is upset at me. What is he going to do about it? I've asked him to contact me before, and I've asked whether he wanted me to take down the video or not. And he didn't even get back with me. Honestly, I think he likes having that video up because it gives him more views on his channel, in my opinion. I think his reasoning's been overrated. And then there's been other videos out there that have been a lot worse, to where it showed him wrestling around with this skinny guy. And he's not said anything about that. Wally, that was bound to happen there. It was just Leo overstayed his welcome and was cramping Tony Hughes' style. But I could have told you that weeks ago. Don't forget, Scatman, I had to get up and change robes, remember? So I'm sorry if I missed your comment there. I probably missed a couple of other people. But tell me what you are drinking and smoking. It wasn't intentional or anything like that. I try to get people's comments as best as possible, but I mean, I can understand I'm going to miss something, you know. I'm always going to make mistakes. I may butcher someone's name wrong. I may mispronounce it. Or I might get confused with you saying something where you meant something else here. I can read things wrong too. Now I'm packing my camp. Oh boy. I just went ahead and changed robes because I was getting too hot in that other one. But I am not stripping bucking naked for any of you people. That's a good thing about a cigar. It makes you relax a little bit. Have I ever had chocolate with a cigar? No. Actually, chocolate doesn't pair well with a cigar because chocolate has a very strong and intense flavor. It overpowers the flavor of a cigar. That's why I'll have a coffee with a little cream in it there. Just something light flavored, or like I have right here. I actually have Earl Grey tea tonight. Because I had a decaf earlier on. When it comes to cigars, I want to have something, for the most part, light. So that way I can taste the flavor of the cigar. Now, if I have a very strong cigar, like a full-strength Maduro, for example, at that point in time, then you want something nice and stiff. But for a medium cigar like this, no, you want something more light. So that way you get the flavor of the cigar. I'm not sure how old are you, Robert. That cigars, I will admit, are messy. People don't like being around them or anything because it's pretty old school. Most people either smoke cigarettes these days. Even cigarettes are getting old around people, and now they're vaping and stuff. Cigars are like a throwback. There's something classic about it, you know. I like cigars. I like the flavor. It, you know. Just it's just my thing, you know. It harkens back to days when I'm having brandy and I'm having a cigar and I'm listening to Sinatra playing. You know, you get into that mood, you get into that aura of the time to where, you know, people just sat back. They didn't watch TV or have their heads in a phone or anything like that. They sat there, they chatted, they played cards and stuff like that, you know, living the moment there, you know. That's also why I do these live streams there, you know. Because my head is not in a cell phone. I'm up here sitting here and chatting with you guys here, drinking and smoking, you know. Sometimes you have to de-wind from technology, folks, here, you know. And even though this is the pinnacle of technology as far as this live stream is concerned, it's still the same principle, you know. This is also what I was doing during COVID with my friends and everything, you know. We couldn't meet up with each other, but we would get on like a Zoom call and we would just talk and chill and hang out and have lunch and stuff, you know. Try it sometime. But good. I understand you don't like cigars. It's an acquired taste. Just like man butt. Well, no, that's a bad joke. Here's the booze right here. It's a Moscow Mule. Vegan Gains is not going to ever eat meat again because he has too much invested in it. I don't know what's going to happen with the vegan teacher, but probably Vegan Gains eventually is going to go scorched earth. I've had French Earl Grey before, but I just like the regular stuff with a little bit of lime in it, or excuse me, lemon in it. You're having a platter of brie, smoked cold cuts, and cold plate. That sounds pretty good. Oh, you're 42, Robert? Well, you should try. I mean, you probably just hadn't found the right cigar yet. Either that, or it's just not something that you do. Don't do something just because I'm doing it there, you know. I mean, I like the thing about it is I mainly listen to jazz and crooner music and stuff. So, cigar and a little bit of brandy actually complements my general position and attitude. Now, I'll have a beer if I'm listening to some heavy metal, of course, you know. So, but for the most part, you know, I'm just listening to jazz. I have a cigar, I have brandy, I have a good book and everything like that, you know. It's a good thing, people. It's a good thing. Yeah, Trigilli using those vapes here. Like I said, that's a young folks thing. Well, Robert, that's good. I mean, whenever I was competing, I didn't either. So I didn't regularly start smoking cigars probably until like 2017, actually. Well, that's awful nice of you. I don't think me with the robe looks nothing alike there, the statue, but well, it's a copper mug, but inside, if you notice, it's regular stainless steel, so it's just copper on the outside, and it helps keep the drink cold. Port wine. I've been over a couple of Italian friends of mine. I've been to their house and they had their port wine. It was pretty good. I don't really. It's not something I regularly drink at any bar or anything like that. The Swordfish Club has a wide variety of wines, but they specialize in liquor. So, but I'll drink port wine if someone's offering it. You know, alcohol's alcohol after all. So, I've smoked weed before, but I don't smoke weed or anything anymore. I just don't like the smell of it. Like I said, that's something I left with my childhood. Well, Andrew, it's not. I mean, I can drink espresso coffee at 2 a.m. in the morning and fall asleep at 2:30. But you can always have a decaf and you'll be just fine. Well, it is, but you got to have something to complement the port wine cheese, of course. So I should facilitate a fan Zoom hookup, maybe with the membership program, perhaps, or so. People would have Zoom. Would any of you guys be interested in a Zoom call or so? I mean, that's something I can definitely do. And I've done Zoom calls, but mainly I use Zoom calls for business purposes. But it would work in a general environment as well. Well, we don't do a book club. If you want to know what a meeting would, if you want to know what hanging out with a bunch of gay people, gay men, is like, it's no different than you hanging out with your friends. It's the exact same, you know. There's nothing different about it. Nothing. Except obviously we're not going to talk about girls or anything. That's the only thing. Usually crank back some cold ones, watch football or the game or something, you know, or play cards or something, you know. That's my group of friends there, you know. You have to understand there's different groups of gay folks there, you know. But usually that never comes up in the conversation because most of my friends, they're already hooked up with they bring their boyfriends over, so the conversation is pretty much mute and stuff, so. Well, Wally, at one time I couldn't do Zoom calls neither when we were in the office, but when COVID happened, that was a non-negotiable thing. We just had to do Zoom calls because that was the only way we can meet. My favorite Wu-Tang song was Cream, actually. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, the money, smell the dollar bill, y'all. Da-dum. That's not a new breed of gay men there, Greg. That's always been around. But you have to remember it's no different than other groups or anything. But one thing I will say, there is a lot of pretenders, you know. I can tell you, I'll tell you a little story, folks. Don't get too disgusted at it, but you know, I was at 621. That was a bar. The reason why it was called 621, it was at 621 Airport Road in Greenville, about a mile away from the Haywood Mall. I'm sitting in there. Queer as Folk was playing on Sundays. 621 always played Queer as Folk, and there was this guy in there, very cute and everything like that, and he was all campy and stuff like that. And I had a few beers, and I thought I'd decide I want to smush and everything. Took him back to my place. He was talking about doing this and doing that. And, you know, I whip out my John Holmes, slap him across the face with it. And just before I was going to put it in, you know, I had his legs over my shoulder and everything like that. All of a sudden say, no. And he said it in a little voice. I had to hear it again because it was all fit. I was like, what'd you say? He's like, no. I've never done this before. And then I said, well, too late now. Ah! I'm just joking. No, I didn't do that. I just never stuck it in, and we sat down on the couch and discussed things, you know, and stuff. And I explained to him that, you know, that's something that you got to work into. It's very important that you don't go and slide your meat pole into anyone that doesn't want to do it or has any regrets, you know, and especially in this day and age there. You don't want to end up, 10 years from now being accused of rape or anything. But good question though. Some people can be very catty and they can all act gay, but when it comes to it, they're sometimes it's just all an act. I've watched the European version, but the one that played at 621 was the American version because that was the new one at the time. No, it wasn't Scatman. Greg, I'm a top. Andrew, you can always come on the channel at any point in time and hang out with me. Some people actually stream my live stream as well as Vegan Gains' live stream at the same time. That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine for me. If you want to watch 2 live streams, you can always do that, Nothing wrong with that. You ain't trying to hurt nobody. Well, this was long before the Me Too movement. This is like 20 years ago. This is like back in 2002 or something like that. Well, yes, Jason, I made a video about that as well. The Kevin Spacey thing, that was kind of whack, You're both actors. Why in the world would you go back to someone within 30 years or so? Think about Bill Cosby, She couldn't even remember what year it actually happened. This look back rule is just horrible. Anyone can go and say it from 50 years ago, and it's very hard to prove yourself as innocent there. Hopefully they'll retract that type of rule because now it's becoming just a big, warm, wet mess, It's just not fair, I mean, next thing you know, you're going to have people that are accused of collaborating with Nazis there. You're going to have Jewish people being accused of that, even, and stuff. Who knows what can happen? This look back rule is just, I know it stems from the Me Too movement. I understand why they're doing it. But, at the same time, you can't ruin someone's reputation, especially from something that's like 50 or 60 years ago, at that point in time. That's why those rules were in place originally to begin with. It has to be a specific time period to where it can be investigated. Something that's from 50 years ago, there's no way there's no way to collaborate something like that. And Bill Cosby still got convicted anyway, It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't like the guy anymore because of the things he did with women. But at the same time, I have to think of myself there, Someone can some guy that I may have dated maybe 20 years ago can come along and say that I did something to him. There wouldn't be anything I can do about it neither, And then I'm canceled, And we've had a history to where some of these people have actually lied about it too. I don't know who Bobby Morgan is, Jason. Oh, I almost forgot to show you, folks, in case you never noticed. Now that I've finished my cigar, remember, you always twist it. Although, it's still smokable. You twist it, you don't jab it in or anything, folks. Remember that if you ever smoke a cigar. Never jab it. Twist it. Otherwise, you'll have smoke going everywhere. Andrew, there's multiple channels that has Richard's deleted videos. They'll never go away. Richard would not make a good cashier. He doesn't have the temperance. He should do like I did at Walmart and unload trucks in the back. I think that would be better suited for him. Well, of course, veganism. Of course, she was going to delete it. That was going to be expected. Yeah, I haven't discussed that as of yet. I think that was very immature of her to do that, you know. But oh well. I don't know whether Jasmine works out. I would honestly say no. That's a Richard thing. What do I think about the term bottoming? It's just a term there, you know. There's a top and there's a bottom there, you know. Some people are versatile, you know. Who cares, you know? Whatever you enjoy, you enjoy. If you like taking it up the wazoo, then hey, more power to you. If you like slapping them across the face with the John Holmes while sipping Hennessy, that's your thing too, you know. But without a bottom, you can't have a top, you know. So, I mean, it's no different than any heterosexual relationship, you know. Sometimes a woman can put a strap on, some of them be dominant and just ride over the dude and everything like that, you know. You guys have been on Pornhub, you've seen some shit, so. Scatman, I'll start streaming in about a couple weeks. I haven't decided on what type of games I'm gonna play. Now that I have two monitors. The reason being is because I've been working in the office a lot for finishing up websites and doing affiliate marketing. Plus, I started a new grocery site, so where I'm selling online groceries and supplements again. So I've been concentrating a lot on that as well. Well, I know he was banned from USPA Texas there. I may know of the person, I just don't recognize the name there, Jason. So you'll need to be more specific. Is he like the chairman of the USPA Texas or so? That's what I'm assuming based on the comment. I don't think Richard's going to leave Jasmine. Nah, I don't think that's going to happen. They actually complement each other. I hope he doesn't leave because Jasmine actually keeps him under control somewhat, you know? Because remember, before they got married, you guys remember Vegan Games was a lot more wilder. And with Jasmine, he's slightly calmed down. I would say slightly, you know? So I hope Jasmine stays around Richard so he can keep him somewhat under wraps. But that doesn't, as we've all seen, that doesn't always work, you know. But to be honest with you, their relationship is of no concern of mine there, you know. That's their thing, you know. Well, there is no middle ground there, Scatman. You know, you can't exactly have fun with two tops or anything, you know, unless you're gonna beat off together or so, you know. Same with women, you know. I mean, I know they scissor and everything like that, but I'm not sure how that works, you know. The site is calibergrocers.com. Let me put it in the chat. There you go. I never tossed a salad there, Scatman. And I don't sell salads. You can't. Shipping lettuce and stuff like that is not ideal. I do ship frozen and refrigerated stuff. It's an additional $8 fee. But I have a pretty good supplier. I was using Bengala, but now I'm using UNFI for the store. I've had other online grocery stores before. I closed my last one down because, Amazon was just taking over everything. Now that Amazon is losing money and they've stopped trying to undercut people, I've brought back a number of my websites here. And the grocery website is doing pretty well. It's not making much money, but, it does make me feel better. But it takes a lot of time to run it, actually. Richard will one day get rid of his YouTube channel. Either that or he'll just get banned or move to another platform like Blaha's done. Because Blaha is moving over to Facebook, but even he'll probably get banned from there one day. Yeah, a lot of people are moving away from YouTube. They're going to TikTok and they're going to Facebook. Well, that's why people donate so much there, Robert. They want to see Richard drive himself insane. How much longer? We got 25 minutes left. Yeah, I feel a lot better now that I've had that cigar. That's the thing about a cigar. It gets you all nice and relaxed. I mean, I'm still sore. Still not feeling all up to date, but I do feel a lot better now. Like I said, cigars are very relaxing, folks. Calms the nerves. I've not watched any of Lenny's lives lately. I've hung not since last week. Like I said, I've been pretty busy with Zoom calls and setting up sites and everything. Well, Protein Bra, I was going to cut it off earlier because I wasn't feeling well, but I hung in there. So I think there won't be an extension there or anything. One of these days, I may do a 3-hour live stream or even a 4-hour. Probably when I'm starting the game and stuff like that. To where when it comes to gaming, whenever I game, I'm gonna game for like 4 hours. That was usually my time period. Well, Richard's debating skills have gone way down. He's just not able to get away with the questions that he's asked. No, it won't be your fault. He's been banned before, but he's under a his channel is not actually his channel. His channel is under some type of company actually that gets a cut of his profits. I would say Blaha had the better physique in his prime there than Genova, unfortunately. But Genova had bigger muscles than Blaha. But bodybuilding wise and body fat percentage wise, I think Blaha has the edge on him. Well, JumpTube, the hours of operation are referring to when you can call me with a question. I also have a online chat to where I keep that on whenever I'm in the office in case someone wants to message me for any questions or concerns. Like, let me show you an example. Y'all go to calibergrocers.com right now in just a minute, and I'll give you guys a demonstration. So I've turned on the online chat on calibergrocers.com, and you'll see that little purple thing raise up from the bottom if you have any questions or so. Now don't go and click and ask me a question there, you know. But that's on all of my e-commerce channels. It has that help desk chat in case anyone has any questions. Now, when I start back working, that thing will be turned off naturally, except on days that I'm not working. But it's good to have a help desk chat there because that does drive sales as well as taking phone calls. But that's why I do have hours of operation. You know, having e-commerce businesses is not something that you want to run all day. You have to have time for yourself. I'm definitely not looking vascular. I'm getting more wrinkly, actually, because I'm losing weight. So, and it's going to keep going down as well. I don't mind trolls plugging my fight there against Cuban or anything like that. You know, I did go off on him, which was deservedly so. But fuck him, you know. Oh, Genova's the man, you know, always, as opposed to Hemingway. The thing about it is, even if Blaha was in a bodybuilding show with Genova, Genova would still beat him there simply because he's just a better person, you know. Judges wouldn't vote for Blaha. They would probably throw him off stage. Well, Wally, I don't eat, I only eat eggs once a week there, usually on a Sunday. But I don't sell eggs neither. Again, when it comes to eggs and stuff like that, they're easy to get damaged. So I don't sell eggs on the grocery site. UNFI is responsible for my products. UNFI is the largest grocery supplier in the United States. I was using Bangala, which was a smaller organization back in 2016. But I use UNFI. You'll probably see those trucks driving around and always going to restaurants and stuff. So I use the same thing. Well, Jason, things are a lot more censored on YouTube now, so you got to be really careful. Especially during the first 8 seconds of any video. No, I wouldn't have an exhibition match against Cuban because it would be a waste of time, you know. Now, obviously, he can't beat me in a fight or anything like that, but again, as I've always stated before, it's best just to walk away from fights. Not worth it. Plus, I mean, you have to think it's something that's never going to happen anyway. It's no different than, you know, Richard always challenges people to fights. And here's the thing. The reason why people challenge people to fights online all the time is because they know they're never going to be confronted, you know. I mean, it's just menial, you know, to challenge someone online. Because you're never going to meet up with the person. You're never going to actually go out there hundreds of miles just to go fight someone. Now, there has been exceptions. There was this lady in NASA that drove like 8 miles just to beat up this woman, you know. But I don't think I'll ever be mad enough to waste my time doing something like that. Guy Cristorano, he's just a figurehead. He's just in place for PJ Braun, but he's not running the company. That's, you know, Blackstone Labs is ran by High Tech Pharmaceuticals at this point. Even when PJ comes back, PJ is just a figurehead for Blackstone, and he handles the affairs. But Blackstone is pretty much owned by high-tech pharmaceuticals at this point. And they're trying to take control of Redcon 1 as well, you know. But with Aaron being back, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, Jason, he's no longer welcome at the Texas events, but he can simply go next door. Plus, any of his lifting records are going to stand anyway. The best side hustle of 2023, I believe, is going to be affiliate marketing, which is what I'm doing presently. But the truth of the matter is, any side hustle you do, it should be, it should play to your talents here. If you're a good writer, then that should be your side hustle. If you know how to cut hair, that should be your side hustle. You want something that you have an aptitude for there, KS, but good question. Genova was taking all sorts of things there, but, you know, I don't want to delve into what he's using there because there's a couple of YouTube policies against it. I can't exactly discuss what cycles Genova or anyone else was doing. I can make general references to things like Trin and Deanna Bowl and stuff like that, but the minute I start going over cycles and details of it, that's when you get in trouble. And you can't just get in trouble with YouTube like that. You can also get in trouble legally. Feds don't like it when people are discussing stuff like that, you know, discussing cycles. Because it's the same as giving advice to someone on how to use an illegal drug. Remember, steroids are illegal, folks. You know, if you use them and you're caught with them, you're going to be in trouble. So you're going to get arrested for steroids. If you don't have a prescription for steroids, you're going to get arrested. Yeah, she did a lot of things, but you have to, you know, you have to compliment her on her dedication, denim jacket. So, gonna drive 8 hours just to fight a bitch. You know, that's something there. Yeah, when Rob Zilla catches up with conservative Cuban, he's gonna get a fresh piece of pound cake. No, I don't find Little Dre attractive. Well, Jason, I could talk about female pheromones here. You know, as far as female pheromones are concerned, and I'm just going to give you the general basis, they work as well as male pheromones. Because, you know, that's how animals in nature, uh, because it's something that's bred into every animal on the planet as well as human beings. But as far as Blaha's conversation on the video, he has once, just like a lot of other subjects, he has no clue what he's talking about. Yeah, I'll butcher his name because I've been drinking, but you know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's not really how I pronounce his name. It's about, you know, who he is. Now, Guy he's a good working man and everything like that. But he has to know his place as just as some sort of figurehead. So someone in place of PJ. He's not running the company at all. Again, that's being ran by High Tech. So I really don't know who's running 5% there. That's a good question. It's probably under some sort of conservatorship of some type since Piana is no longer around. Scat. Oh, isn't that sweet of you, KS there? But you forgot to say no homo with that. So, how often do I read the YouTube guidelines? Well, they send messages to us there every single week there, and like I said, in the past couple weeks, I've been flagged about a bunch of stuff there, and YouTube. Even though they don't give me a warning or a strike or anything like that, anything that goes on the channels are still monitored, and they let us know that, hey, you can't do this specifically. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that you just don't know about if you are a YouTube creator and your channel's monetized, and that's just one of the things. Denim jacket, there's no such thing as homemade steroids unless you have a pharmaceutical lab. Regardless as to whether you mix them at home or not after getting the powder is still going to come from a facility there, Denim jacket. So there's no such thing as homemade steroids. Bradley don't know what he's talking about. I used to listen to a lot of 3-6 back in the day. Not something I listen to often, but you know they're a pretty good group. I know Gangsta Boo just passed away and everything like that. A lot of 3-6, a lot of people from 3-6 have passed away. But you have to remember, you know, they lived that particular lifestyle, and they lived a pretty rough one. So it doesn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise anyone as far as to how things are going. And Gangsta Boo, I think she died of a overdose of cocaine or something. Yeah, YouTube, I mean, it does. That's why I have the separate website, vincegoodrum.com, that I tell everyone to go to at the end of every video. Yeah, they butcher his name. I don't mean it by any standard or anything. I just say, whenever I see him at the expo, I say, hey, what's up, guy? I don't even try to pronounce his last name. I just tried to pronounce it tonight, and I already knew I was going to butcher it. That's because I have some good Moscow Mule. Good vodka in it. Charlie, the feds ain't too concentrated on that anabolics right now. They're worried more about fentanyl than they're worried about steroids. Yeah, I can tell you what I got flagged for. Some comments that I made using the FAG word. Then YouTube got on me for playing the Sanford and Son remixes and stuff. They're doing a lot of flagging lately, you know. It's just one of those things. I guess they're under a lot of pressure from their advertisers. Because remember, advertisers don't want to advertise on videos to where you're calling someone a bitch or something, you know. So. That's the thing there, Denim Jacket. You know, whenever I was selling the stuff there, you still got to get the powder, you know. And then you mix and you mix everything up at the house there. That's not homemade. That's not homemade steroids here, you know. That's just you completing the process, you know. It's no different than a pack of Kool-Aid. You go to a store and you get a pack of Kool-Aid, it's powder. You still got to mix it with some water. And in some case, you got to put a cup of sugar in it as well, you know. Just think of it that way. That's why I say Bradley doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, you know, on that. So, fuck him, you know. Yeah, DMX died from that as well. I mean, like I said, it's a party lifestyle, you know. But that's been going on for decades, you know. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, you know. A lot of people have died from drugs from living that lifestyle. What was my first big purchase in life? This mobile home. That's the biggest purchase I've ever made in my life is this mobile home. $50,000. The next biggest thing I purchased was my college education, so. Those are my biggest purchase, but I think I read that wrong. What was my first big purchase? My first big purchase was an Atari ST. It was about, for the monitor and the computer, it was about $600. which may not sound like much, but you got to remember this is 1992 actually, so that's a lot of money considering that you're making $4.25 an hour flipping tacos at the Bell. So my home, it's not decreased. Mobile homes don't decrease in value anymore per se. You have to remember, you don't worry about a mobile home is not something you would invest in neither. This is a place to live. It's shelter. It's an essential. You have to have food, water, and shelter. This is a shelter. I don't think of this as an investment. I don't care if it depreciates in value. It can be worth. It can go down. The value of it can go down to $5 as long as it serves the purpose, which is to live in and to have shelter from the elements. It's perfectly fine. A house or a house of any type is not something you would want to invest in because most people's houses are owned by the bank and you still have to make repairs and you still have to pay the mortgage. Even when you pay, by the time you pay off the mortgage, then you're going to have to take out another loan in order to fix up the house. It's a continuing process there, unless you buy your house up front. But usually, the vast majority of people never get their value back from their houses. Back a long time ago, you could, but not at this point in time, especially with the feds raising their rates and stuff. So if you're going to invest in something, don't invest in a house. Invest in stocks, mutual funds and stuff like that. Don't invest in a house. A house is not a good investment tool unless you are flipping houses. If you are taking an old house, you're fixing it up and then selling it for money, that's when you would invest. It's no different than the websites I have. There's websites that I bought for a little bit of money and I fixed them up there. No different. But a house in itself just to live in, you should, if you're buying a house for shelter, then consider it as shelter. Don't consider it as an investment. Well, this is an Atari computer, actually. Now, I did have an Atari Jaguar, but in 92, I bought a Atari 1040 ST. So that's a little bit different. Yeah, you should really check them out there. It's, good for shelter there. The reason why I moved here is because rent is so high in Greenville. It's like $1,200 there just for something half decent there. And if you want something really good, you're going to have to pay at least $1,600. I don't need all that. That's why I moved out here to Piedmont there and got myself a mobile home, It's shelter. It's not an investment, The real investment, if you want to consider it, is all the money that I'm saving because as opposed to living in an apartment. So just think of it that way. I save a bunch of money each and every month living here as opposed to living in my apartment. Well, Scatman, good question there. My whole thing is, whenever we grow up, we're always told to go to college and, buy a house and everything. Those are old values. They don't apply in this day and age anymore, especially college there, because people are being left with, college is so expensive. It's like $100,000 and you're never going to pay it off there, generally speaking. That's why Biden's doing this, loan forgiveness of a portion. But even with the loan forgiveness, it's just it's like throwing sand in the Grand Canyon. It's never going to end or anything. And that's the same with a house here. Houses are so expensive. The interest rates are so high, and the repairs have increased. There's so many rules and regulations with it to where it's not a suitable investment, things that my mom always taught me, hey, go to school, get an education, go to college, and buy a house. I've done all that, And as far as that's concerned, if I can go back in time, I would have went to like a trade school, or I would have went to Ashworth instead of going to a traditional college there. You know, but I still would have bought the mobile home there particularly. It's just times have changed to where going to college and buying a house is not really a good investment there at this point. I could put solar panels in there, but you know, again, it's all about getting the value back there. Once they start getting more credits for them, and once they go down and get a little bit cheaper, that's when I'll probably get them. Well, Charlie, I'm still paying on the property, the land that it's under, not the home itself. Well, James, I said I wasn't feeling too well. I was going to cut the live stream short, but I figured, all right, I'll have myself a cigar and feel a little bit better, which I do now, so. I'll search that later there, Jason. We only got 2 minutes left, so I want to get in some last-minute questions here. So, folks, 2 minutes left. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. If you want to put some money into the collection plate, you can do that too, you know. Truth One, you out of here? All right. Well, you have a good night. Thanks again for tuning into the Midnight Run. Any final questions, folks? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Before I say peace. Can't do that, Charlie. Copyright it. Yeah, I must go there, Andrew. Sorry. But y'all can still hit me up there whenever I post a video and ask a question still, so. But folks, it is midnight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Midnight Run. I want to thank whoever the Vegan Gains is for the donation. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I know we're at the end of the month. I want to thank everyone that has donated this month. Pugman, everybody else, if I missed you, I definitely appreciate y'all supporting me, my channel as always. Don't forget Earl Grey Tuesday, again, will be at 8 o'clock p.m. as always. So remember, take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. Root for whoever you are. I'm predicting Jump Tube. I'm predicting the Eagles to take the Super Bowl. But folks, as always, peace and